Alright folks, Vitek here from Wani with us today. We have one and only, the craziest guitar in the history of heavy metal, one and only Wes Borland. How are you doing today?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I always wonder what it's like to be inside the head of Wes Borland, unbound by any specific musical convention. And when I think about that, I just think about Big Dumb Face. I wonder, what is it that motivates you to write an album of this degree where you have metal being thrown from A to Z? I mean, what is it that motivates you to write an album like this?
I think that, for me, the only success that I ever wanted to have in music was to be able to make enough of a living to support doing it. I just wanted to be able to maintain and to be able to get to a point where I could do anything musically that I wanted and not have to go get like a real job in the real world. And so far that I'm still able to do that, thankfully. So for me, I'm a very right-brained person. I'm spacey. I forget things. I'm usually thinking about something else than what's in front of me all the time. I'm always
lost in the world.
Thinking of ideas and I'm always churning out creative ideas, but that definitely affects me negatively and sort of on my logical side. And
I understand.
I'm very emotional and I get obsessed with ideas, but I think that's part of. And I also have a really wild work ethic and a very high endurance.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I've been doing lately is with these albums is I've been setting rules for them and then setting a time limit.
Okay.
I have to finish with it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I get on these, I just start working wildly on a record and I finish it until I just keep working and throwing new ideas and thinking of things to places to take it, and have to meet a deadline that I've set for myself. And I think that
really
that way of working it's very stressful, but it's also very invigorating. And I think that it brings, I don't like it when an album drags on for a long time.
Yeah,
because you start to lose. It's very easy to lose perspective, and you start overthinking things, and you start hearing mistakes that aren't really that important. You start thinking, oh, I have to fix this, I have to fix that. But when you have a really quick time limit, a short time limit to work in, you don't really think about making mistakes because you're just you're like, okay, good, that's fine, it works.
Right.
I've worked on records where somebody's taking forever to start because they're just going through what sound can we use, and I just don't think it takes the soul and the all the fun out of recording when you're just hammering something that's do you like this choice or this choice or this choice or this choice? And I'm I don't care. It doesn't matter. They all sound the same. You just pick one. It's and I just like working like that. I like committing. I like trying new things. I think the biggest problems people have when recording is they're either too precious with what they're working on, because if you're precious all the time, you don't learn anything.
Right.
You can't I think being fearless and not being precious, and having no filter. So if I think of an idea, I'm not going to think oh, that's embarrassing to me, or I'm not good enough to pull this off, or I just do it. And if if people don't like it, or, give me a hard time for whatever, it's, at least I'd put it out there and try it in the real world instead of just keeping it in my studio and overthinking it.
Wes, you mentioned that when an album is worked on for such a long time, you kind of lose the soul of it, and you dig deep into a lot of things, and that somehow seems to be the case with the Limp Bizkit album, which has been in the making for years, even though you have already finished writing it.
Yeah.
What is it that is stopping? Is this the not liking the vocals or redoing it? Like, is it going into the same state as you just told me that it's going into cycles?
Yeah, it is, and that's why I don't like my input on that record. I've finished my input for now, and I really wanted to walk away from it while Fred worked on vocals. He's always taken a long time on vocals. He's always super critical of himself, and he's the opposite of me as far as like how long he takes.
Right.
But I think that for my piece, and that's fine because people work in different ways. Just for me, that doesn't work.
Right.
But what I did is I walked away from the record for a while so that I didn't get sick of it, and that because all the stuff that I wrote was written in a fury, like the way that I write, that I always write. But
right.
He's not on the same schedule as I am.
Okay.
But I also can't participate. I can't participate in the drawing out of the record for this long. So what I do to keep myself from like hating the record and taking the soul out of it is I just don't listen to it, and I walk away from it for months. Like I just don't. I won't continue to work on it. However, I will continue. I will work on it again when he's finished with his vocals.
Okay.
And then I just want him to give it. I told him just when he's done, give it all to me at once, and I'll mix it and finish it and do like it'll be new to me then.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Again, it's
like,
like,
it'll seem new when
absolutely. And then I believe you've written on 25 odd songs, which is like a huge thing for an album. And then you have to chisel out what's going to enter into the record, what could possibly be a B-side or maybe an EP down the road or whatever.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've talked to him about doing that he might be doing soon is, like I said, just get a click track and just do vocals on it. Just like and then just give me the vocals without the music, and I'll write a song around your vocals. And react to him that way. So that's another thing, because we don't live in the same city anymore. So we're mailing stuff back and forth most of the time.
Cool, man. So it's going to take a long time. So no specific deadlines at the moment.
I don't know. It's whenever he's finished with something that he likes. And I can't. All I can do is make my own records.
Yeah, you mentioned that the album, is really weird. There are a lot of weird things that you guys have tried and attempted on this album. When you look at such a great catalog of Limp Bizkit, where do you think does this fit, or which album do you feel does it come close to?
I don't know. I think that there are elements of it that sound like what Bizkit sounds like as a band, but I think that that's also because it sounds so much like the last couple records. It's the sound. It's nothing's really changed, and I think that he's frustrated with that too.
Okay.
Like we've tried some other things, but they don't always work.
Right.
And there was experimentation, but I really don't know what will end up on the record and what won't. It's whatever he reacts to and whatever he finishes. So.
All right.
And then I'll write new. I'll be writing new music for it when he's done, because obviously what he does will make me want to react to the songs in a different way. So some of the songs I might just completely dismantle and do something new. So I don't know. I have no idea where it's going.
No idea. Well, that's cool, man. That's cool. Obviously, like you said, fans love you for what you did, and now it's kind of like they align themselves to it. But when you look at how you've inspired, millions of fans worldwide when it comes to Limp Bizkit and also all your other projects. But I want to ask one question here. What do you think was the most important factor in the sound of Limp Bizkit that easily connected you to the millions worldwide?
Oh, I don't know. I think that the songs were produced in a very gettable way. And I think that as far as like there are a bunch of catchy hooks and lines in the songs. But I think that our drummer John is incredible, and he plays like he plays with swing the whole time, so everything is always, you know, he's like a jazz drummer and loves hip hop, so he's always played like kind of swung hip hop beats, like live on drums. And I think that mixed with my to the guitar is unique.
Right.
I think that I've always really loved writing riffs in a certain way that locked in with John. And I think that having riffs and having musical elements that were experimental and strange, going with these songs that were kind of like poppy and had hooks.
Right.
I think that you know, it's hard to like break down why it worked or why it made people, you know, so energetic. And but I think it's just, you know, it's just the right circumstances at the right time.
Right time.
And it's really hard to
aligned.
figure out like lightning in a bottle, you know.
Right. That's really great to hear. You know, obviously, you guys and the Linkin Park guys, we're the one that I started my journey with into the history of, you know, into the world of rock and metal music. And you know that a couple of months ago, Chester passed away. I'm sure you guys, both Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit, spent a lot of time together, and you know, you guys created a whole new genre together. So, what memories do you have of him? I'm sure.
I've only met him 2 times in my life. You're going to be really disappointed by this, but I only met him twice in passing. We played one show together where I remember, you know, talking to him and talking to all those guys. And then I ended up seeing him, like, I saw him at a store in a mall somewhere one time, and was just like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? And those are the 2 times I've ever was around him. So I don't know. I don't know. I've heard he was a really troubled guy.
Right.
I didn't know that about him. I didn't really know anything about him, and you know, it's terrible. You know, it's terrible that people get to a place where they feel like they need to, you know, end their lives.
True. I totally get that. Any plans of taking this album on tour, or maybe Limp Bizkit doing a tour? I saw you guys with Korn in UK, and you know, you guys were mind blowing.
Oh, thanks. We're Bizkit isn't doing shows until March, and that's like in Australia.
At Download Festival, it was announced today.
Yeah. We're doing Download in Australia. For right now, I think that one of the reasons I'm making so many records is because I had a revelation where it just hit me, and I said, hey, I don't have to go on tour with a record. I can just make a record.
Okay.
And that was really exciting to me, because all of a sudden, without having to think about like, how am I going to tour? How am I going to do this live? Who am I going to get in the band? How am I going to pay for it without losing money? Because it's really touring when you're not like, any project I do that's outside of Limp Bizkit has and Black Light Burns actually does okay too, but anything else it's really hard to fill venues. Like, people just don't know. Everything's so oversaturated, especially in the U.S. It's easier in Europe. But yeah, touring is just so expensive now.
Definitely.
Especially, you know, when people they're not buying music anymore. You know, they're very, everyone's sort of panicking all the time about, like, you know, there's so many bands that will be on the main stage at festivals who have day jobs now. Right. They can't make a living
out of music.
And it's really bizarre. So as soon as I got it out of my mind, that as soon as I don't have to tour to put a record out, that was just like the most freeing thing. And people have asked me if I would tour on this, and I'm like, I will tour on a record that I make if it seems warranted. Like, if there's enough of demand, if it's popular enough and there's enough of an outcry and like it makes sense, I'll tour. But like for this Big Dumb Case record, no, I'm not going to tour on it, because I would, you know, go out and be playing for who knows how many people.
People.
Yeah, someday if I do another Big Dumb Face record and it ends up, we'll see how this one does. But if this does well and I do another one, maybe I'll tour on that one.
Good stuff, dude. That'll be great. I hope you get to come to India someday, either with any of your projects or even with Limp Bizkit. I don't know whether you're...
I really hope Bizkit does it. I had a really good experience there, and I felt really welcome, and like a lot of people were ready for, people really felt ready for Bizkit to come there.
Right.
And I was in awe of how many fans there were. And I just started going like, why haven't we gone?
Right.
Why aren't we going? It always comes down to, logistics.
Logistics, right.
Who knows why. But yeah, but there are all kinds of places in the world that we would like to go, but if we can't make it work in a certain way, then it,
Yeah, it's difficult. I hope that happens, man.
We can't. So we're always trying to yeah, me too. I would really like to come.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Take
thanks
care.
for the great interview, and I'll hopefully talk to you later. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.